You wake up 30 minutes earlier than you need to, not because you want to, because you've learned the hard way that any small delay can set off the chain reaction. The bus being 3 minutes late, your login taking 30 seconds longer than usual, your coffee cooling before you can take the first sip, and then the email, the one with the subject line in all caps, the one you've learned to dread before you even click it. Where were you at 9:02? No greeting, no context, just the timestamp like a digital fingerprint proving your guilt. You try to tell yourself it's not personal, that it's just how they operate. But it always feels personal. You remember the day you stayed an extra 2 hours after your shift ended, unpaid, because a customer's complaint spiraled into a full internal review. You answered emails, drafted responses, smoothed things over. You thought your boss would appreciate the dedication. The next morning, there was no thank you, just a sticky note on your monitor. Need you at your desk by 8:55, not 9 o'clock. You start noticing the little ways you've adapted to survive, hovering your mouse over the spreadsheet so your active status never turns idle, keeping your headset on even during lunch breaks so you can respond to urgent requests without fumbling, typing drafts in a hidden notepad window so you can erase them before your boss hovers over your shoulder and suggests a better way to phrase it. The hum of the fluorescent light above your desk becomes a clock in itself, a constant reminder of how slowly the day moves. You count the flickers in the corner bulb, and when it pauses for a few seconds, you know it's around 11 a.m. Still 2 hours until lunch. Still 5 until freedom. Though freedom feels like a word you stopped believing in, there's a point where you stop trying to do your best work. Not because you don't care, but because doing your best has no reward here. Every task, no matter how well done, is just an invitation for another layer of scrutiny. You prepare a report that's perfectly formatted. They tell you to change the font. You answer an email within 60 seconds. They ask why you didn't copy them in. You take the initiative on a project. They schedule a meeting to explain why your way is good in theory, but needs to be brought in line with the process. It's not that they want you to succeed. It's that they want you to succeed exactly how they would have done it. And the truth is, they'd rather you never did anything without them first telling you how. It's a Tuesday in March when your body finally shows you the cost. You've been ignoring the tightness in your jaw for months, clenching your teeth during every tense interaction. That morning, you wake up with a headache that feels like it's coming from inside your skull. You still go in, of course. You can't call in sick. Not with this boss. By noon, the pain radiates down your neck. You finally book a dentist appointment for after work. The dentist tells you the grinding has worn down your molars. You'll need a night guard. It'll cost $350. You nod, numb. Not at the diagnosis, at the realization that even in your sleep, you can't escape them. But there's a moment, brief, intoxicating, when you think things might be changing. A department review shows you've been outperforming your peers in response time and customer satisfaction scores. Your boss shakes your hand in the weekly meeting, says, "This is the kind of commitment I want from everyone." For 2 days, they leave you alone. No nitpicking, no passive-aggressive notes. You almost let yourself relax. Then Friday morning arrives. You've missed a minor update in a shared document. They call you into their office. Shut the door. Your attention to detail is slipping, they say. The compliment is erased. The brief reprieve is gone. You start keeping your own mental ledger, body, the knots in your shoulders you can't stretch out. The acid reflux from eating lunch at your desk, hunched over, the headaches that feel like they've been scheduled in advance. Mind the constant mental rehearsal before you speak in a meeting. The way you delete and retype emails 3 times to avoid criticism. The anxiety spike every time their name lights up on your phone. Money, the night guard bill. The takeout meals because you don't have the energy to cook. The extra transport costs from taking the longer route just to avoid running into them before you're ready. Time, the unpaid hours staying late to prove you're committed. The lunch breaks you spend reading old emails to make sure you didn't miss something. The weekends you spend dreading Monday. Relationships, the text messages you leave unanswered because you're too drained to reply. The dinners you cancel because you need to rest. But resting just means staring at a wall. The people who stop inviting you because the answer is always no. You're not a name anymore, you're a number on a dashboard. Response time, 12 seconds. Customer satisfaction, 96%. Error rate, 0.3%. You are data, a set of metrics they own. It's raining hard the night it happens. You're sitting in your car in the office parking lot. Engine off, lights dim. You've been parked for 30 minutes, holding your phone, not opening it. You know there's an email waiting, probably about the report you submitted at 4:59. You can't look at it, you can't walk back inside, and you can't make yourself drive home, because that means waking up tomorrow and doing it all again. You tell yourself you'll quit, but you don't. You go back inside. Weeks later, you start asking yourself the question you've been avoiding. Who are you without this? Without the constant oversight? Without the permission slips disguised as task lists? You can't picture it. The job has become the air you breathe, and even though it's toxic, you've adapted to it. That scares you more than the job itself. The next morning, you feel their shadow before you see them, hovering, watching, breathing just close enough that you can sense the weight of their gaze. You're typing an email, but now it's their email, their words, their tone, their pace. You hit backspace because they clear their throat, and you know this isn't your job anymore, it's theirs. You're just the body sitting in the chair. You remember the first time you met them. It was your second day. You were still learning where the copier was, still figuring out the rhythm of the office. You'd just finished drafting your first report. Nothing special, just a weekly update that barely anyone reads. You printed it, walked it over for review, and that's when you learned. They didn't just glance at it, they sat you down line by line, asking why you chose this word instead of that one, why the header font was Arial instead of Calibri. You laughed nervously, thinking it was some sort of initiation. It wasn't. It was the job. At first, you think maybe they're just thorough, maybe they're training you. You tell yourself it'll pass, that once you've proven yourself, they'll let go, that they just need to see you can handle it. But that day never comes. Every email you send, they rewrite. Every spreadsheet you make, they reformat. Every client call you take, they hover, chiming in like an overzealous co-host you never invited. The tools of your job stop being tools. The headset, the shared drive, the company CRM, they're not yours anymore. They're just extensions of their control. You can't save a file without them renaming it. You can't schedule a meeting without them approving the agenda. Even your notepad, the one you bought yourself, they glance at when you're out getting coffee, leaving little sticky notes correcting what you wrote. You start timing your bathroom breaks to avoid walking past their desk. You keep one ear open for the sound of their shoes on the carpet, the quick, deliberate steps that mean they're coming your way. The hum of the fluorescent light above your cubicle becomes a warning signal. You've noticed it flickers slightly when someone walks by. That flicker makes your stomach tighten. By month 3, you're not doing your job anymore. You're doing their version of your job. And it's slower, more tedious. Every task is now 3 tasks. Doing it, justifying it, then redoing it. A simple 2-sentence email now takes 20 minutes and 5 rewrites. A project you could finish in an afternoon now takes a week because they want updates every hour. You can't move without explaining yourself. The first crack in your resolve comes on a Thursday afternoon. You've been working on a client proposal for days, and you're proud of it. You think maybe, just maybe, this will be the thing that earns you some space. You send it over. 10 minutes later, you get the ping. Come see me. You walk in and see your proposal on the screen covered in red markup. Not suggestions, commands. Whole sentences deleted. Your ideas stripped out and replaced with theirs. You stand there nodding, but inside, something slips. The work doesn't feel like yours anymore, and without ownership, there's no pride. Without pride, there's no point. It starts bleeding into your body. Your shoulders are permanently tense, hunched from leaning toward your monitor to block their view. Your jaw aches from clenching whenever they speak over you in meetings. You wake up at 3 a.m., running through tomorrow's tasks in your head, rehearsing how you'll explain them before they even ask. Coffee stops working. Lunch is just something to get through. Dinner is eaten in silence, your brain still stuck at your desk. You tell yourself you'll push through, that the paycheck is worth it. But then you do the math, $3,200 a month after taxes. And for what? To have your time monitored, your work overwritten, your confidence chipped away one correction at a time. You start thinking about what else you could be doing, but you don't have the energy to figure it out. The false dawn comes one Friday. They're out sick. You have the whole day to yourself. You move faster. You finish more in one day than you usually do in 3. You feel free. You even stay a little late just because the silence feels so good. But Monday comes, and so do they. They pull up your work from Friday and start picking it apart, questioning why you made certain decisions without consulting. That brief taste of autonomy makes their return feel worse than before. The grind ledger starts filling in. Body. The knot between your shoulder blades. The afternoon headaches from staring at a screen you can't look away from because they're watching. The way your pulse spikes every time you hear the email ping because you know it's them. Mind. The constant self-doubt. You second-guess everything, even outside of work. You find yourself rewriting text messages to friends, rewording posts online, afraid you've said the wrong thing. Money. The stagnant salary. No bonuses, no overtime pay, just the same paycheck, no matter how many extra hours you log. Time. You're on the clock, even when you're off it. The mental weight follows you home. Your weekends aren't really yours because you spend them bracing for Monday. Relationships. Friends stop inviting you out after you cancel too many times. Your partner notices you don't listen the way you used to. Even your dog looks at you differently when you come home late again. By the end of year 1, you're not a person anymore. You're a status report, a metric, a checkbox in someone else's productivity tracker. They don't see you. They see your numbers, your output, your mistakes. The second collapse comes quietly. It's late. You're the last one in the office, finishing a report they need first thing tomorrow. You've already stayed 2 hours past your shift. You send it, shut down your computer, and check your phone. There's a message from them, time-stamped 3 minutes ago. We'll need to go over this first thing. I have some concerns. You sit there in the dark office, phone in hand, staring at the glow of that message. You don't move for a long time, and you start to wonder, who are you without this job? You can't remember what you're good at. You can't remember what it feels like to be trusted. You've spent so long living under someone else's checklist that you've forgotten how to write your own. You drive home in silence, no music, no podcasts, just the low hum of the engine and the faint ringing in your ears from too much screen time. You unlock your door, drop your bag, and stand in the kitchen. You don't cook. You don't turn on the lights. You just stand there, feeling the weight of all the days you've lived like this, and all the days still to come. And that's why it sucks to be working 9 to 5 under a micromanaging boss. If you're ready to escape this cycle, there are links in the description with resources that can help you break free from the rat race, including how to start your own faceless YouTube channel so you can build income without a boss breathing down your neck.